Welcome back to the Balance Boldly podcast for ambitious women in business and a few brave men. I'm your host, Naketa Ren Thigpen. As always, I am so stoked to be in the house with you today. Listen, there are so many conversations happening right now. Like my LinkedIn is blowing up at the time of this recording. There's so many conversations happening with our power couples and our potent humans just across the globe around navigating uncertainty, because that's what it is. The marketplace is in upheaval and people are questioning what should they do, what should they not do. Is it worth growing your business, scaling your business, keeping your business even, has been the question of the day. And let me just bring a little solace to you right now. Let me just give you a little salve to ease some of the frustration by introducing to you this beautiful and brilliant, potent human who is growing a thriving business in the midst of all the things. And it happens to be a sweet treat. So I want to welcome Sarah Wilson. She's the co-founder of Chip Cookies, the original gourmet cookie delivery company. She's a mom of 3 who turned her pregnancy cravings into her passion. And I am super interested in learning all about her creative founding story of how she's managing to do all the things and do it while looking very svelte and very sharp. Sarah, welcome to the BDP. How are you today?
Thanks for having me, Naketa. I'm so happy to be here and talk about kids and sweets mostly, right?
Absolutely. I mean, you're a sweet treat. Your personality, your spirit, you're a incredible human. And we professionally stalked you, so I can vouch for you and say, we can say that.
I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So I would love to know a little bit more about your business, what you're doing, why you decided to do it, especially this unique industry that you're in, and while toting babies along the way, and a loving relationship to boot.
Yeah. So, it's so crazy because our Chip was actually born out of pregnancy cravings. So I was pregnant with my first, and my craving was chocolate chip cookies. And it was typically late at night. And, I would kind of roll over my husband and be like, okay, I need a cookie. And, I think being my first, it felt like this medical need. If I didn't get this cookie, something might happen to me and your baby. So you better go give me a cookie. And so, that got my husband running out looking for cookies at midnight, and he'd come back with baked goods that were old, that had been baked that morning, or, Chips Ahoy or Oreos, which is fine. But I was craving that warm, fresh cookie. And I'm like, go, here's my recipe. Go make me some cookies. I want that gooey, fresh out of the oven experience. And so after, 5 or 6 times, he was like, why isn't there anything like this? And this is 8 years ago. And there really weren't a lot of options for food delivery at the time. And so you could get a pizza delivered warm, but you could not get cookies, even a sweet treat delivered. And so it kind of kept happening. We had our daughter, and around that time, we had written a business plan for this. It just was something we love, kind of working on business plans together. And it just started becoming something, and we thought, what if we just test it out? And really the kicker for us, we found out we were living in California, and then we found out about this rental kitchen in Utah. And one thing we knew about Utah was that there were a lot of pregnant women. So again, my business plan was okay, I need to find pregnant women that want cookies late at night. And so it was this really great model where we could rent by the hour. In our mind, all we needed was a kitchen to bake the cookies, and then we would deliver like a ghost kitchen. So, we opened our doors, and pretty quickly we started having lines out the door, and, it wasn't meant to be a storefront. But people were like, I followed your delivery driver back. I don't live in your delivery radius. Cookies. And, because we spent a lot of time, for me, quality is so important. I love good food. I love quality in everything that I do. And so we created this recipe that we felt was if you could have a cookie delivered at night, but what if you had the best cookie you've ever had? And that was our goal. And so word kind of got out about this cookie, and warm and delivered to your door. And, here we are now 7 years later, and, we've grown into, tons of locations, and we've started franchising, which is exciting. So we'll be opening nationwide. And, it turns out it's more than just pregnant women that want cookies.
How about that?
But I love that it was inspired, really, truly inspired and born from my kids, who have been a big part of my journey as, an entrepreneur and a mom. I actually have 4 kids.
That's right.
Which is crazy. It's more than 3, but I have 4 kids. And, they've all really been born during this time that I've been growing a business. And so obviously it's not a bad thing for them that I make cookies for a living. Like, they're not mad about that. It's not vacuum. So they're happy, but, they've been a big part of my journey, and it really is, Chip in so many ways is a family business, and we're excited to kind of grow that family nationwide.
No, I love that so much for so many reasons. Like, first of all, you were like, husband, if you don't want, right? Like, if you don't want to be fussed out.
Informed. I don't know how I convinced him that maybe that something, they tell you, like if you eat sushi, something, so I'm like, if I don't get something, there might be a problem.
I think there was some good flip head manipulation.
Second time, I'll say that. It was a 1 and done thing, but by then we had the company up and running, so I didn't need him to go.
You were like, it was worth it. You see, I told you, I needed it. We didn't know that it would be a global need, but we needed it.
Yeah. Luckily, more than just pregnant women want cookies. So we got lucky.
As you were talking, I was laughing because I'm like, I haven't been pregnant in multiple decades, and I would absolutely love a warm cookie. So I appreciate that your craving drove you, technically drove your forever lover to say, wait a minute, there is something powerful for that. And I want to back up for a second, because that is the power of a duo, right? Like, you could have just been in pure placenta brain moment, right? I just need a cookie. Just give me, I don't want to talk about anything else. Just give me a damn cookie and keep it moving. But he saw something, and some of it, in all fairness, might have been like, if you send me to the store one more time in the middle of the night, right? Or down to the kitchen to cook.
There was
a little extra special. And of course, seeing your smile after he gave you the cookie was well worth the drive. Or going down to the kitchen at midnight to bake cookies with your recipe.
Yep.
But him seeing that and supporting you in it is something that a lot of women are not receiving, because this comes up a lot for people who are married to either non-entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs that were schooled in a different era. You know what I'm talking about. That, right? Like, very, I'm not sharing, I'm not listening, old school. And here you are being supported not only through the idea and taking it to another level that you probably didn't imagine at the time that you guys were just having this 2 a.m. cookie conversation. Talk about pillow talk. It was very sweet conversation, right?
Ours is always about food.
Ours too. Don't worry. Ours too. That and Frasier. We're usually laughing at watching old Frasier reruns. But you also had multiple children in the process of this, and a global pandemic in the process of this. And the market is shaky right now for many, many businesses. And you guys are not, not to say that you're not impacted, because everyone is in their own way with the supply chain and all the other layers to it, but you're very focused and very faithful that you will thrive in this and continue to create legacy for your children, and also for the staff that you're being able to hire because of this global franchise expansion and all of the ripples that will come out of that. And I have to say, Sarah, that is a big deal. That is not a small Chip moment. It
happens though,
I think it's amazing. Wow. How are you feeling right now with just so much growth and so much beauty and so much possibility around you? Are you in an awestruck, I can't, this isn't real life, this doesn't happen? Or are you so in the zone right now that you're just 1 foot in front of the other, 1 foot in front of the other?
Yeah. I mean, it's a mix of both, right? You pinch yourself every day that you had a business that, we sell cookies for a living. it's a dream come true in so many ways to own. It's like an American dream, right? To own your own business. I think that's why franchising has been so exciting, to give people that opportunity, to own their own bakery. And so of course it's exciting. But it's also a lot of work, like it has not, I was not an entrepreneur before this. This is my first, business I've started, and, what goes into that, and the risk and the heartache, it's an emotional roller coaster being an entrepreneur, and the highs are high and the lows are low. And sometimes it's a lonely place, and you never stop working, at the end, it's not a 9 to 5 where you clock out, those are some of the things I miss, like being able to just, my husband and I have rules, like at home in bed, like I'm like, no chip talk. Like we have to have boundaries of, when we're working, and sometimes we have to be talking about it right before we're going to sleep, So, I think in this market though, in terms of that question, I feel very confident in our product. I feel very confident in our brand, and I feel confident that, even in hard times, people need a little retreat, right? They need a sweet escape, and they may not be flying to Paris. They may not be, going and buying and the retail therapy but they need a treat. They need an escape. And we offer in a product, a warm chocolate chip cookie. To me, that it's hard to beat. Like I think it's more American than pie. I always say, it is just the perfect treat in so many ways, whether you're putting ice cream on it or dunking it in milk or however you eat your cookie. It is, to me, the best treat. And in hard times, we need those, we saw that through COVID. We didn't close any of our stores during COVID. And, people needed an escape. They needed a treat. And we don't see that going away, and I feel fortunate that we have a business that will, I believe, do well in good times and in bad times.
Clearly, it set the standard already, going through something that this at least our time, you and I are of a certain age. We've never seen a global pandemic in our lifetime, and you were able to be sustainable and then scale from there. But you said, sex is always on my mind. So, it's just, part of the trade of what I do. But something you said that was really awesome when you said, when we're in bed, we're like, no chip. And the first thought that came to me was, if you want some sweets, we will not be talking about cookies. You
want the chip? You can't talk about the chip.
Right. I love that so much. And then I also heard you saying that you have basically two customers, right? You have the customer who's the end user who just wants something sweet, party, baby shower, event. Hey, I deserve it today. I worked out on my Peloton, whatever that, small celebratory reward might be. But then you also have the legacy client who's purchasing a franchise. What does that look like for the person you're attracting? Are you is your ideal franchise owner a family? Is it a woman who's never had a business before, a male who wants to do something different and, break up some culinary skills in a different and unique way? Like, who's your person?
Yeah. We don't discriminate. You can be any gender. For us, it's people that embody a lot of our core values, right? Like hardworking. We say make chip happen. You'll see we use chip. It's so great because it's such a near swear. We love it. But, we like people that can make chip happen. And that really embodies somebody who's just entrepreneurial. They love to work hard. They're not going to say, be lazy, like just hardworking. At the end of the day, owning a business, whether it's cookies or, a software company, it's work. And we like that. We want people, food background is great. We don't require that, but it helps you to know the industry. Something we say is like the chip family. Like we don't necessarily need a family, but we want people that are local to the community, who are involved in the community. We've seen that have a big impact when you open a store and the community and even where to open a store. We have our metrics of where we believe, a store would do well. But if you're a local, you have that knowledge and the PTA president and what teams we're going to sponsor and how we're really going to be involved in the community at a local level. And so that's important for us, for our franchisees too. And it's nice because as a franchisee, when you open a cookie shop in your town, like people are not mad at you. Like people, you have a lot more friends, you know? And so, it's really been an exciting opportunity for people. You know, I think anybody who has an interest, you don't even have to have an interest in baking. You know, I think that's the thing I love about my story, and is that I don't have a culinary degree. I don't have a pastry degree. Like I am a woman who likes cookies, right? We've all probably made cookies. And yes, I've researched and spent many years. I feel like I should have an honorary degree or like something. But I don't. I just love cookies. So we can teach anybody. You don't necessarily have to be a trained baker. And we've proven that. But if you have a passion for treats or even gifting, you know, I found our product is so giftable, right? Like we have a friend who just had a baby, sending them to the hospital. Like I can't tell you how many stories over the years I've heard people say, you know, someone just last week, my dog died and we had 4 boxes of chip at our door. You know, like there's just something about our cookies that's so giftable. It you know, we say delivering happiness because we started as a delivery company, but cookies just are this emotional vehicle for people, right? Delivering comfort, delivering joy. You know, you had a bad day. And so it's really giftable. It's a very affordable, and it sends a different message than like flowers, right? Like you may not feel comfortable sending flowers to just anybody, but sending cookies, I mean, it's universal. So it's great for gifting. And but our franchisees have already felt that, you know, and it's exciting to have the growth and, you know, meet different folks. And we've really had everybody, whether it's, you know, someone that's just sick of their day job and they want to own their own business. And there is so much power in owning your own business and being an entrepreneur. It scared me before. Like, it's funny, Naketa, because, you know, I won an award for, you know, an entrepreneurial award. And I was like, I almost feel like a fraud winning this because I am more like the corporate world. You know, I went and got my master's and was totally fine in that, very comfortable. I get my paycheck. Right. Right. And my husband is the one who really is more always, you know, wanting to get out of the corporate world and be an entrepreneur. And, you know, we work really well together in that. But as hard as it is so rewarding. And at the end of the day, you feel so proud of yourself watching, you know, something grow and build, even with the lows. Which I'm sure you've seen too. You know?
Absolutely. I mean, my husband and I started this company 12 years ago at the time of this recording. And God knows it was a test of our marriage, a test of our parenting, a test of our sensibility and sometimes physicality, right? Because to your point, especially those first 5+ years of our business, I thought leaving the medical clinical world that I came from with these 12, 16, 18-hour shifts, that I would create a different work-life balance, which became my truth over time, but was not my truth in the beginning. There were days that I don't even remember when I went to sleep. I was like, well, what happened? And some of it was scarcity mindset, right? Like thinking that I needed to do more and that I had control over things that really weren't in my control, especially in the consulting business where I'm at, right? The personal development, training, all that. And a lot of it taught me some phenomenal lessons. Like you can work smarter. Systems and thick thighs save lives. I stand by that. So cookies help with the thick thighs. Let me just tell you.
Got you.
Very helpful. And also creating, to your point of your company and the sweetness of what's happening, not just in the tangible sweetness of the actual product, but the feeling that is evoked in what's created. You know, my youngest is a senior in college. She just turned 22. One of the things that she still, you know, it's a compliment in here somewhere for me. I'm waiting to catch it. But she was still like, you know, hey, Mom, I need you to do is make her cookies in the middle of the night. Like, it's a thing. Like, I just, you know, can you please make me cookies? To your point. Now I can send her chip cookies and get back in the bed.
I mean, really, one of our first, we opened in Provo and we just had this rental kitchen, and somehow a mom found out about it, and her son had been in a car accident away at college and she couldn't get there, but she would always make him warm cookies, you know, whenever something bad happened, just like your experience. And so she was able to send him, and I'll never forget because we got this handwritten note. And those were one of those moments in our business where I felt like, we have something here. You know, this is a service. This is something to me that every city needs. Like, you need to be able to send warm cookies to yourself,
right,
to your kids. And, you know, it's just a fun thing to be a part of, you know, facilitating that. It's kind of almost like a flower shop where, cause we let, you know, people can write a letter, you know, a note, like, right. And you love with the love of the sex and everything, because those are really fun. We used to have a board in some of our stores that, like, you know, some of the things like, you know, sorry about the rug burns last night, or like fun things like that I just love. But it's just a peek into their lives, and you see that Chip is really something that translates into so many emotions, and that, you know, that value we have of delivering happiness. It's just delivering so many emotions in the form of a cookie. And so it's just a pleasure for us to do it, and really rewarding to be a part of that.
Yeah, you're literally helping people create balance by adding in these rewards and create joy, which is, you know, chef's kiss, right? Like when you can do it.
I mean, and people say, even with the balance, you know, like, I love how you're talking about like the thighs and stuff. You know, and I had a friend this morning text me. She's like, I just worked out, and then she has a box of Chip, you know, on her seat. And I was like, it's all about balance. That's right. Though. It is. No, I mean, and you should, I believe, I mean, I treat myself every day, but you should, like, you should indulge, and it's good for the soul. You know, I think that it's important for us to have balance. And if you're just eating green smoothies, like, come on, you need to throw a cookie in there.
That is not balancing boldly. If that's
not balance. Boldly here.
Exactly. Well, you know, Sarah, I have to ask you my signature question with growing this incredible global business, helping your family and so many other families, both as your end user customer as well as your legacy customer. How are you giving yourself permission to pause?
Yes, I love this question. And you know, it's a hard one for me because I don't pause a lot, like, being totally honest, with 4 little kids. My youngest is 18 months, but there are moments where I will just say, and it's usually kind of in the evening, right? Like, everyone knows, like, these hours, you know, the witching hours, where I just say, I need a break, and I'll go sit in my car. You know, I think the car can be this really sacred place, especially for moms. Absolutely. I mean, like, minivans, like, this is like, without kids, it can be very sacred. And I just take a minute, you know, and it's hard for me to do because I have little kids that, like, will die without me, like, literally, you know? But I just say, Mom needs a minute. I just need a minute. And I will just sit in the car for a second. I might turn on some music and just sit there. I think even going on a drive, it's just sometimes you need a little reset. And I love the word pause. Like, I just need a pause. And I think it's even important to teach my kids that, you know, that we might feel frustrated or overwhelmed, but sometimes you just need a pause. And it could be a pause for a long time. You know, like, I need a pause for a week. You need to give me, or it's just, I need 10 minutes to get myself together. And I think we're better people for that, for taking that moment to pause and, you know, get our emotions in check, or just have a minute, right? Like, I think every mom, whether you're a working mom or you're a dad, like, we all need moments to pause. And I love that. I need to find more opportunities to pause.
You just stick with me, kid. I got you.
Yes.
I'm thinking how sweet it is of you to call it, and you can trademark this, the mommy minute. The mommy minute. I love that.
I love
that. That's your words. Mommy minute. You heard it first by Sarah Wilson. She said it. I'm just repeating it.
I'm my trademark attorney now.
Yes, called the mommy minute. I really love that for so many reasons. Now, when my kids were younger, and of course, you know, we're talking 20 plus years ago, I would literally put myself on timeout. I was like, okay, mommy's on timeout. Like, what did you do, mommy? Nothing. I'm trying not to do anything. So give me that. And that's scaled differently in our business, where now I take 6-week self-love vacations for the summer and 18 to 21 days as like a winter solstice reset at the end of the year.
Amazing.
So the mommy minute got elevated.
I think that
I love this so much.
As a working mom, though, because and I don't know if you ever felt this, but because you're a working mom, you know, I think it's hard to not, when those moments when you can take a trip, to not have kids. And that's something you need to balance more, you know, the priority of our relationship, my husband and I, you know, because we're together a lot working, but not necessarily having, you know, a romantic experience. And so I think it is a balance of finding those times, but I love that you just block that out.
Yeah.
I'm writing that down. I'm doing that.
I'm a better human for it. And the business boomed because of it on so many levels. Thank you. And remember the trademark, Mommy Minute. Nobody else listening to this can do it. She's already on it. She's already on it. Sarah, how can people get more information about your company?
Yeah, you can find us at chipcookies.co. And then also Instagram is a great place to find us. Most of our social handles are just at chipcookiesco, C-O. And you'll find us on everything, TikTok, Pinterest, we got it all. So come join the fun. I mean, it's fun looking at cookies, right? It's just a pretty photogenic product. So, follow us. We'd love that.
No, I love that so much. Thank you for carving out time away from the babies, including, because we were talking in the green room when you said that you had an 18-month-old as well. And I'm looking at, PR from before 18 months and before that baby was added.
I just keep on the chip. They gotta stop.
Well, no, I think it's the sweet chip. At the end of the day.
We are having some romantic moments.
Clearly. There is no question because the proof is in the footsteps.
No, we gotta stop with the footsteps.
I love it so much. You've been an incredible gift to everyone who's listening, who was questioning whether or not this is a good time to grow, to start, to continue, to sustain, let alone scale their business. Your story on all the layers, coming from a place of, hey, this wasn't something I was doing for 30 years and then it blew up. This was a very serious biological need that was important to the birth and growth of my children that then grew into a legacy imprint for so many other people outside of my nuclear family. And I think that in and of itself is a spiritual gift to so many people who are listening, let alone the people who take you up on your offer to grow with you. So thank you.
Love that. Love it. Well, thanks for having me. I mean, I feel like I could chat with you all day.
Same. Same. Absolutely. Absolutely. Balance Boldly listeners, I told you guys 2023, we were not playing games. You guys write in. Thank you for your emails, your DMs to ask Naketa. I was about to say my name wrong. That's hilarious. But thank you for all of that, because I know that this is a topic that has come up. I feel like it's been 12 to 15 conversations just in the last 7 or so days around that. And here we go. Perfect timing with everything, because Sarah Wilson is a testament to the possibility. So next time you think, I wonder what this means that I want pickles and mayonnaise. I don't know. Please don't do that. But, if that's a thing, maybe it is a thing for someone in the middle of the night, and see where it could go and grow. Just make sure you have a supportive human next to you that can help you with it, whether it's your forever lover or a really, really good trusted friend. Just make sure you're not in this alone. And the way you do that is you show up for yourself first, fully, by doing something special for me right now. So I get asked all the time, like, Naketa, you're so giving. How can I help? Well, it's really easy. 2 things. 1, I want you to think about at least 2 or 3 people that have not heard this episode, that who need it, and share Sarah Wilson's story with them. Just go ahead and send the link, say, heard this dope interview, you need to listen to it, and send it. Let it plant the seeds and grow from there. That's the first. And second, enjoy the balance of your day, but remember, do it boldly.